Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals don't listen to their feelings.
Everybody there's looking to growth, self-development, business development, all of it.
It's like, what if the external factor's not there?
You just need to take shorter steps. Like just get into the gym and get something done and have that consistent action.
What if the motivator's not there?
Today, I'm honored to interview America's coach, Coach Michael Burt.
Either I'm going to stay or I'm going to go. But if I go, it's going to be riskier.
What do you do when it fails?
It's like, I'm going to keep going. If I like it enough, I don't get caught up in what if it's a wrong decision.
Welcome back to Diehard Entrepreneur Stories. I am your host, Devin Ramos, and today I'm honored to interview America's coach, Coach Michael Burt. He is the creator and leading authority on activating prey drive, the instinct to relentlessly pursue greatness. He is an entrepreneur and investor in multiple 7- and 8-figure companies. His journey began as a championship-winning basketball coach, where he became Tennessee's youngest head coach at 22. Then, at 31, he transitioned into entrepreneurship, creating the Greatness Factory, a global coaching platform, and writing several books, including the Wall Street Journal bestseller, Flip the Switch. His work empowers individuals and organizations to achieve wealth and transformational growth. Today, we'll explore his philosophy on prey drive, business, and the mindset required to sustain continuous growth. Coach, welcome to the show.
Nice, man. Thank you for the intro, and thank you for being a great student of ours. And I'm excited to be with you and play pitch and catch.
Yes, sir. I am as well. Well, Coach, before we get into that too much, can you share how your early career as a basketball coach really shaped your philosophy on leadership and the growth that really led to what you are today as an entrepreneur?
Well, coming from the athletic world, you hear me say I'm paying for your past. Your past helps me to build my future. And I did not set out to do what I do today. I set out to be a championship women's basketball coach. But I had a bent toward self-development, psychology, inner engineering, activating drive, building competitive intelligence. Like I was fascinated as a young coach in these things, not just winning, but I was fascinated in building winners. And somewhere around 25 years old, I'm sitting in my office one day and I go, you know what? I think, man, I'm interested in business. Why don't I go back and get my doctorate in management and leadership? I don't even know what told me to do it. I didn't really even know where I was going. I was online looking at online universities. I didn't know how much it cost. And I literally just enrolled that day. Like, man, I'm going to go back and, get my doctorate in leadership and management. And it was naive ambition, man. And I started kind of falling in love with how do businesses work? How do I translate my coaching skills into the business world? Because I kind of intuitively, Devin, was always looking for a seat at a bigger table. I felt like I was a level 10 person. And I didn't look at it like I'm just playing in a little bitty opportunity here. I didn't really think about it like that. I thought about it like, hey, I'm a basketball coach. It's good. I'm good at this. What else could I do with this skill set? And I'm ready to get out and run. And that's really what prompted me to retire at 31. So I have a real skill set, just like you have a real skill set from your past. I have a real skill set in activating prey drive, activating boldness, imagination, monetization, packaging. There's not many rooms that you could put me into that I couldn't hold my own based on that 13 years of being a championship coach, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Coach. So at what point did you discover this concept of prey drive? And I guess before we jump into that, if you can give our listeners sort of a quick definition of what prey drive is.
So prey drive is prevalent in an animal. An animal has a prey drive, specifically a dog. A dog has the ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. And at 41 years old, I was sitting in a workshop with the former Vietnam veteran, and his name was Bob Samara. And Bob Samara was in the war dog division of the Vietnam War. And his job was to go ahead of the infantry with nothing but an animal. And the dog, he kept talking about the dog having a prey drive, Preydrive. And I had never owned a lot of animals. Like I don't have any dogs. And so I was like fascinated by these two words. This is where I bring my skill set in and I go, man, I think I could package these words up and bring a fresh twist to an old way of thinking. We think about motivation like I need to get motivated. I started going, no, I need to show a person how to activate a drive inside of them because if I'm always seeking external motivation, it's like, what if the external factor's not there? What if the motivator's not there? Now, I still get external motivation, but I started going, what could I do to teach people how to activate a deep drive inside of them? And I trademarked those two words, pray drive. And then I kind of became known, which is exactly what I teach our students, become known for something. I became known as a specialist at activating that drive, which is basically your instinct to pursue. Pursue what? Deals, opportunity, potential, partnership, revenue. It's like we're in the business of waking up every day and going into battle. And that's really what Pray Drive is.
Right. So, Coach, is that when you say activate it, is that something that I can do myself? Like I activate my own Pray Drive, or I can activate like others in my team, or
both? I think nothing happens until the Pray Drive is activated. So the Pray Drive is like, hey, I got to get up and go get it today. Left to my own devices, I will contract. Left to my own devices, I will go back to a place of comfort. I got to wake up every day and go into battle. Okay. And so many people wake up and they play defense, man, versus offense. I'm trying to teach you to play offense. Pray Drive is about playing offense. It is about being in the business of creation. When I don't know what to do, I do something. I go to bed tired. I wake up hungry. It all goes to zero at midnight. It's basically getting up and going, I'm going to get it today. I'm not waiting on it to be served up to me. I'm going to go create. That is deeply embedded in us, but it's suppressed by so many people. Kids have Pray Drive. Animals have Pray Drive. But life has knocked the shout out of people so many times, adults lose their Pray Drive.
That's good, Coach. So is it part of your philosophy that like everybody has Pray Drive, or is it just like certain people, or I don't know, maybe you don't even make a determination. What are your thoughts on that?
I think everybody has Pray Drive. All three of my kids are different, and all three have Pray Drive in different ways. It is your inborn instinct to pursue something. Now, what happens is life and people tell you, don't be too pushy. Don't be too aggressive. Don't, slow down. Like life kind of comes along and people suppress that Pray Drive. And then it's like, well, this is not appropriate. I'd be embarrassed. I don't chase people. And the truth is, presenting an idea to another person is not chasing someone. It's like waking up every day and explaining your values, not chasing someone. Trying to put deals together and enlightening people to a better way of doing it is not chasing someone. It's just pursuing a bigger future. So, it's like you're at A and you're trying to get to B, but there's going to be a lot of days you don't feel like doing it. So I go into the psychology of what do I do when I don't feel like doing something? What do I do when I don't feel like prospecting? Well, my desire to hit my B goal is greater than my feelings. So when I don't know what to do, I do something. That's a Pray Drive language, right? I don't know what to do right now, man. I could take a note. I could call somebody. I could text somebody. I could follow up with a customer. I could present an idea. Like just by me talking to you about it makes me want to do something.
Right. Yeah. That's good. I heard long ago, a good friend of mine, I was struggling with, going to the gym and having a real quality workout. And, I was kind of thinking in binaries, like a really good workout or no workout at all. And he's like, hey man, some days you just need to take shorter steps. Like just get into the gym and get something done and have that consistent action. You don't need to be so binary. That's kind of what you remind me of when you're saying you're not sure what to do something, like create the motion, create the action, get it going. Is that sort of how you find it works? You start to catch traction and, some days are up, some days are down.
Yeah. And over time, what happens is it becomes like a muscle. You learn to do it when you don't feel like it. You fight through your feelings. Now I get into what's called because goals in the book, Flip the Switch. I like because goals better than find your why. A because goal is a big reason to do something when you don't feel like it. I show up every day because that's what the pros do. I prospect every day because I want to grow revenue. I form strategic partnerships because I want to get access to new networks. I follow up to bring something to a close because I believe in Newton's law, objects at rest stay at rest. So it's like I do these things because of this. Like people follow me, go, man, I love your consistency. You do things when you don't feel like it. Like you do videos when you don't feel like it. You coach when you don't feel like it. Well, amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals don't listen to their feelings. I mean, you were in the military. I mean, I'm sure you had feelings, but you couldn't always listen to them because listening to them can become dangerous. And the pros, when you go pro, you go, look, I'm going to recognize this feeling like I'm tired or I'm exhausted or I need a break and you're going to go, okay, let's get a break. A break could be sitting down in the chair for 10 minutes. A break could be taking a nap for 30 minutes. A break could be I'm going to go outside and walk and move around and get moving a little bit. Like it doesn't have to be I'm going to take a whole day off. The pros like just need a little break here and there. And it's like, all right, let me get back to work. Let me get back in the game.
That's good. Coach, you'd said you prefer because goals versus, find your why. I'm familiar with that concept, and I'm sure many of our listeners are. And one thing I just realized right now when you said that is recently I was talking with a friend about my pursuit to eat cleaner, eat healthier, develop better habits, sort of lean out. And versus the previous couple of years, I've sort of gotten out of whack, I feel like. And as I was thinking about it, he started questioning me, and he's like, you don't really have to, you're getting older. You're like 36 now, like kind of like the writing's on the wall type of thing. You're not a Green Beret anymore. And I said, man, I'm doing this. Like my goal is to get down to this weight, to lean out and start to eat this specific way every day because it's who I am. Like I'm a warrior and I've deviated from that. And I didn't really understand what I was saying when I said that, but as the weeks passed and I've sort of lived this out, I realize how powerful that is. Like, and I'm going to tell you, Coach, I consistently go back to because it's who I am. And that is so much more powerful than anything else. And I've seen a lot of progress. Is that similar? Is that a similar idea to what you're saying?
Yeah. If you said, what's your why, which is an easy thing to say. The reason I don't like it's because it's been so simplified. Like, Devin, just find your why and life will work out. Everything will be better. The truth is, a lot of top performers, here's how they think. Devin, it's just who I am. This is who I am. Okay. Pressure is a privilege, as my buddy Tim Story says. I do this because of these reasons. Just like you said there saying, man, I do this because this is who I really am. I'm a warrior, man. And I got away from being a warrior. And I got sloppy. And now I'm getting back to being that warrior. Okay, because of what reason? Because of how I feel, because that's who I am. If you called the top performers and said, well, what's your why? It's like they go, I don't know, man. I do it because this is who I am. Like it's just so ingrained in me. This is what I do. I get up and I do these things every day and I pursue greatness every day. It doesn't mean I don't get lazy or it's like I have an awareness of things. It's like, okay, I'm not on my A game. I need to get it back together. I need to reactivate my prey drive. But the truth is, I think we've kind of bought a lie of just finding your why will solve a lot of problems. I think it sold a lot of books. I think Simon Sinek is a really smart, very deep intellectual person. But the concept to me is like, just find your why. And, you could know your purpose and still be broke. You could know your purpose and not be motivated. You could know your purpose and, so that's why I like because goals a lot better than finding your why.
That's good. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So for somebody who's on the cusp of trying to figure out, they want that seat at a bigger table. What's step one? How do they activate that prey drive? I heard do something. What else, Coach?
First step is simple. Get to the right place and get around the right people. Okay. It's as simple as that. Ken Coleman was at the Greatness Factory last week. He wrote a book called The Proximity Principle. He's talking about he has a life he don't like. He was smart enough instinctively to know I need to get to the right place. Okay. That's like you hear me talk about, Jana Creel on my team that drove from Houston, Texas. She showed up one night I was teaching the locker room, and she'd driven 17 hours to get to the Greatness Factory. And it's like, I got to get to the right place and I got to get around the right people. Now, once I get to the right place and I get around the right people, now I got to learn. How do they respond? What do they do? A lot of learning is observational, man. It's like I'm learning and I'm watching. It's like you being a Green Beret, watching another Green Beret who's a badass. And you're like, how does that dude handle himself under pressure? And a lot of your learning is not just like training manual. It's like observing. Well, a lot of my learning has been placing myself in rooms with the best people in the world and observing. How does he walk into a room? How does he communicate with people? How does she handle adversity? Oh man, it's like, how calm do they stay? It's like, so the first step that people need to get a seat at a bigger table is even get to the table. Like we believe the Greatness Factory is a table everybody should be at. It's like, somebody may say, well, you could have these conversations at Denny's. No, you could, but you don't. I mean, 99% of people at Denny's ain't having this conversation that we're having. But they are having this conversation. You could eat at Denny's, okay? But you're going to see a lot of this conversation going on at Denny's or the Waffle House, and no offense to those places, but that's not what people are talking about there. So, but if you get to the Greatness Factory, that's the kind of conversation everybody's having. 99% of the people are having that conversation at the Greatness Factory. So it's like, okay, we're at the right place. Okay, if I want to learn how to raise capital, I'm speaking at an event in Miami this weekend for people who want to learn how to raise capital. Well, I've raised capital in a relatively short period of time. And it's like, I'm going to teach them how to build reputational capital first and then financial capital second. And a lot of people don't do that route. They're like, well, I'm going to raise capital, but I don't have any influence. The way you raise capital is through influence. And the way you build influence is through skill set, knowledge, skill, desire, confidence, long cycle of practice. So I'm actually like, what could I teach these people? I'm kind of going to teach them how to become people of interest.
Okay.
And when they become people of interest, people will want to invest in their deals. People will gravitate toward them. Why? Because of their knowledge, because of their skill, because of their desire, because of their confidence. That's why people will gravitate toward them.
That's good, Coach. I think I've told this story on this podcast before, but probably about a year ago this time, I raised a pretty serious amount of capital from somebody that was not in my network, but they came into my network. We had some interaction over time, sort of developed the relationship, and then they invested. And so that was sort of a milestone for me, right? And the coolest thing was when we had that conversation, this gentleman told me, he said, hey, I just want to be clear here. I believe in what you're doing. I think you're going to make me a great return. This is awesome. But I'm investing in you, in who you are. I see the way you interact with people. I feel like we share the same faith. And you just start listening to these things. And that was mind blowing for me. That was when, exactly what you just said. I realized like, okay, people invest in deals because of the people. It's not just the deals. Like, yeah, everybody wants to make a good return, but it's the people.
There's too many deals to even think about. So you're not investing in the deal. You're betting on the person that they have a demonstrated capacity of knowing how to win. Okay. For example, we had Rob Luna, who's on Fox Business, come to the Greatness Factory, made an offer. People could invest in his company. And I'm sitting in the back watching this, and I'm like, okay, the reason you would invest with this guy is because his whole life, he's got 4 degrees from 4 different universities. He's on Fox Business every week, breaking down the economy. He's worked with the most high net worth people in the world. He's sold a company or took a company public or sold to a publicly traded company for, I don't know what, let's just call it $60 million. You're really betting on him. It's like this dude knows everything you could know about money. He's not going to go into it and lose money. Like he knows money like I know coaching. Okay, so if you were betting on a guy like me, you're betting if you invest with Coach Burt in data centers, if you invest with Coach Burt in his private equity fund, if you invest with Coach Burt in healthcare integrated technologies, HITSE, it's because you're really betting on this dude knows how to win. He knows who to bet on. He knows how to roll up his sleeves. But why? Because of a lifetime of winning. Now, it doesn't mean there wasn't some losing in there, but on balance, it's kind of like my coaching record when I won 74.7% of the time or something like that. It's like, okay, I'm betting on that dude because he knows how to win. And that's what you're doing when you're placing your destiny with people. It's like, I'm going to this coach because that dude knows how to win. And I need to learn how to win. I'm going to that Green Beret because, man, he had to do something if he was a Green Beret, right? It's like he had to know something. He had to figure something out. So I think, to your point, what I've learned how to do is build different businesses. I have a coaching business, which is how most people know me. But now I have, like I said, private equity funds. I have Blue Marlin Data Capital. I'm expanding. I'm strategic partners. I'm on the board of directors of companies. And why? Because I'm going to help those companies win. And the one word I feel confident of that is that they're going to get expansion. If I'm involved, there's going to be expansion involved.
That's good. That's good. So, Coach, you'd mentioned wanting a seat at a bigger table. And then as I hear you talk about these things that you're involved in and these opportunities, it sounds like they've evolved over time. Is that accurate? Do you find that you want a seat at a bigger table, you get that seat, and then you want a seat at a bigger table, and it just sort of evolves over time? Is that accurate to say?
Yes, that's exactly right. It started as survival. So let's just put the business into 3 cycles. A period of survival. We just got to make money. We got to pay the bills. We got to keep the office. We got to keep the lights on. Then it moves to a period of stability. This is a dangerous place because this is where complacency sets in. Satisfied needs happen. Then there's a decision. Do I stagnate right here? Do I stay here forever because I'm comfortable, right? I'm driving a nicer car. I'm living in a better house. I got a little money in my bank account. Or do I go for the quantum leap? So it's kind of the psychology of stagnation or despising stagnation and going, nope, I'm going for the quantum leap. The truth is, Devin, I would have a lot more money in my bank account if I would not have built a greatness factory because I had all this liquid cash, right? I took that liquid cash and put it into the greatness factory. Now, this is a risky move because what if it don't work? But what if because of the greatness factory, I attract bigger opportunity and in the interim, I have less cash, but one of those opportunities could be a $50 million opportunity that I could have never gotten to if I didn't risk the cash to get the place to have. You see where I'm going with this? So it's like I'm actually living what I'm teaching you to live. Is it I was safe for a period of time and I built up a lot of cash. Then there's a decision point, what's called a yielding point in a business of either I'm going to stay or I'm going to go. But if I go, it's going to be riskier. There's a bigger table. There's a bigger gain, but there's also bigger risk. But I can never get to that level if I don't go for it. So this is what I see: survival, stability, either stagnation or quantum leaping. That's really what I see businesses do and people do.
What would you say is the biggest struggle as to why somebody would choose stability versus a quantum leap, or even, Coach, why a person might get stuck in survival and just oblivious to a quantum leap?
Well, I'm going to say this and it's not derogatory, but just ignorance. Like, I don't even know there's a quantum leap available. I don't even know there's a better life available, right? I reached out to Jeremy Miner a few weeks ago and about why don't people move forward with things when it's to their benefit. And he said 80% of people have an inferiority complex, which means they may learn something, but they don't really believe it is possible for them. So they never do it. They'll come to my free classes, but they'll never sign up for coaching because they can't even get their mind around doing it. 20% of people have a superiority complex, which means they believe they can do it and do it without the help of another person. So you have to reframe that. If you're in that 80%, and I've been in both of those, where I didn't believe I could do it, and somebody had to come along and go, you can do it. Then I've been over here where I thought, well, I could do it without them, and I couldn't. And I need to be reframed. It's like you can't get to that level. So what changes that? Pain. right? The reason a person doesn't go for a quantum leap is because they're comfortable. And where there's no pain, there is no change. So it's like the quantum leap for me was because I just despised stagnation. I despise getting to the same point every year. I still despise it. I hate not feeling like we're progressing. So what happens when you get sick of it is you go looking. You literally go looking. Who can help me? Who can help me do this? Right? And it's like, I'm hungry and I got to be fed, right? My dreams got big appetite and I got to go find people who can help me get to that goal. And so what I do is, just like I teach you in our classes, I write it out, A to B. I'll just sit in a meeting with somebody while they're talking, and I'll just sit there and go A to B, A to B. I'm at A. I'm trying to get to B. What is the B? Who can help me? And I'll just sit there and force myself to do it over and over and over. I was doing it today, right in the middle of this meeting, where I'm just sitting there drawing it out. I'm at A, and I'm trying to get to B, and I'm letting the creativity come out. And then it's like, okay, I'm going from mental creation into physical action. What's a physical action? I'm going to reach out to this person. I'm going to present an idea. I'm going to schedule a meeting. I'm going to do a follow-up. Then it becomes about a system, a tactical connection that I teach to our students about how I'm tactically going to move from A to B.
That's good, Coach. That's good. A lot of good skills here. Do you take time intentionally out of your day to practice these things? Because I know that what I've seen from you is you practice what you preach. I haven't ever heard you talk about a concept that it's not apparent that you follow the framework or put yourself through. Is there like an intentionality, or how do you stay on top of this stuff from like a skill building standpoint?
If people saw how much time I spend preparing, going there mentally, if you saw how much time I spend going there mentally, I go there in the mind first before I go there in the body. And I spend time in deep thought. I read, I study, I listen, I retain, I draw it up. Then I practice, then I get into action. So I do a lot of that on the weekend. A lot of the time on the weekend, I'm thinking, I'm studying, I'm mental mapping it, I'm drawing it up, and I'll do the same thing over and over and over. And then I'm like, okay, who can help me? And then I've kind of cultivated these other things, kind of the habits of the top 1%. I've cultivated the boldness, the intrinsic motivation, the connection skills, the grit and resilience, the ability to lock in. See, instead of just living there where most people do, they think and stall. They see it. The pros get out of thinking and into doing. So it's like, okay, it's like I'm at this office building today that I really like in this city. It's close to my house. It allows me not to have to go into Nashville. I love it. It's up for sale, like, $1.4 million. I could go back to the guy who owns the space and say, let's partner on this. Let me build a business. Let me build a money lab here. We'll pay the note first, and then we'll split the profits. Like, that's an action. He may say no. He may say, well, buy it. I may say, well, would you own or finance it with no money down? I may say, what if I got a partner? What if I raise capital? What if I rent it from you? See, Pray Drive is like, I'm going to keep going, but instead of thinking about it, if I like it enough, I don't get caught up in what if it's a wrong decision. I'll figure out a way to make it work. I'll keep going until I figure out a way to make it work. And that's how I think big time people do it. Is if you study Price Pritchett, who's one of my favorite mentors and who I'm doing this, this year-long program with, it's like, you're going to fail your way to a quantum leap. You're not going to plan your way to a quantum leap. You're going to fail your way. You're just going to pick an aiming point in the future. And you're just going to start moving toward that aiming point. That's kind of how I operate.
That's good. That's good. You actually just answered the next question I was going to have, which was, what do you do when it fails? But you just answered it there. That's the whole point. You fail your way to the quantum leap.
And you just keep failing. See, in sports, I could run a play, and it's like I always go back to my championship team. We won 37 times before the championship game. We were 37-3. So we won 37 out of 40 games. Okay. To win game number 38, we'd been on a win streak of like 25 straight games. Well, that particular night in that particular game, it wasn't working. Like, what I had done 25 straight times and 37 times did not work. Okay. Well, in sports, you just pull another lever. You just pull another lever. You just pull another lever. You don't just go, well, it ain't working. You keep going until you find something and you got a concentrated time period. You got a competitor at the table who wants to beat you, and you just keep going. Well, in business, we should think like that. It's like, I tried that, it ain't working. I tried that, it ain't working. And don't get fixated on the fact, well, it did work. It worked over here. Yeah, but it ain't the same company. It ain't the same people. It ain't the same dynamics. It ain't the same. So just because it worked over here doesn't mean it'll work over here. Or it did work here, and everything works till it don't. So the ability to pivot quickly, it's like, this ain't working, man. Well, how do you know it's not working? Well, the market's telling me it's not working. So how long do we listen? How long do we resist it? How long do we fight it? How long do we be stubborn? Stubbornness is an asset until it becomes a liability. And then it becomes a major liability to you. So I've been stubborn, and that was good. It got me to a point, and then it became a liability, and it limited, it stunted my growth. So that's what I see all the time with business people. Well, it's working. Well, it's not working to the point that you want it to work. So will you become humble and teachable? And if you will, we could give it a shot and go another route.
How do you know when you're being stubborn and when you're just not being diligent and consistent in your effort?
Well, psychological flexibility is the ability to move towards something even if you don't know it's going to work out. And it really comes back to fixed mindsets and growth mindsets. And it comes back to awareness. All self-improvement starts with self-awareness. And I said something to Jana one day, and we were arguing about something. And I said, I've been doing this for 33 years, right? That was my statement. Like, that's what I say to all the time. I know how to do this. But the truth is, you could be doing something wrong for 33 years. Or it could be the reason that you're not going to the next levels, because that's your standard. Like, I know how to do this. I've been doing it. So there's certain things that's the benefits. Like, I know how to do this because I've been doing it so long. But the truth is, if I knew how to do it, I can't complain about what's not working while at the same time using that as an excuse. Well, I know how to do it because I've been doing it for 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
See where I'm going here?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one or the other, right?
Yeah. So if you're going to complain about it, you have forfeited the right to use your experience as the reason, because you're basically, it's a dichotomy. You're basically saying, I got the experience, but at the same time, I don't like how it's working.
That's right. That's good. It's good, but it's an easy trap to fall into, or a trap to fall into, I should say. That's good. Coach, what's the most recent quantum leap that you've had here?
Well, it's interesting this year, and I'm glad you asked this question. I've had a lot of qualitative quantum leaps this year, not necessarily quantitative quantum leaps. So I built a greatness factory. It's appreciating in value. You've been there. It's a real asset that I could sell if I needed to. It's not fully occupied and optimized like I want it to be, but it's getting better. That's a major quantum leap. I went from no building to owning an $8 million building. That's a quantum leap. I own stock in a company that went up 7 times a week or two ago. I can't get access to that money because it's restricted right now because I'm on the board of directors. But the truth is, quantitatively, it went up 7 times from what I bought it at or got it at. I started a private equity firm called Pitch Equity with Scott Boroff. And I've been talking about this for years, Devin, raising capital. I got a Blue Marlin Data Fund. I've been talking about these things. So it's not like it's real money in the bank yet, but it's coming. And so sometimes in life we have momentum, but we don't have the money yet. And money is just momentum. It's just energy. So if there's enough momentum in the right direction with the right people, then it converts to money at some point. And maybe it converts to much bigger deals than just smaller. So that's a big quantum leap I've had this year.
I love that. So in those moments or in that time period, what are some things, Coach, you do to keep your eye on the prize and keep moving forward? And I say this from a place of, for me, it's a struggle. Yeah, I was actually telling a friend about this recently. I was like, man, we have these big quantitative wins, and then I invest the money so dang fast that I feel broke again. I feel like almost like my back's up against the wall. I feel the pressure, and I'm just like, then I start questioning, am I doing something wrong? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I look at my personal financial statement. I see the net worth increasing, liquidity's up and down. And it's just, it is the roller coaster, right? Of wealth creation. I get it. But at the same time, for you, coach, how do you stay forward focused? You're so positive about it right now. Like, as you're saying all this.
Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, I got to look at it like it really comes down to philosophical beliefs. Like, if you study a guy like Cardone, who believes in taking all of his liquid assets and put it into physical assets, I own probably, $25 million worth of physical assets, real estate assets. If I needed to sell those assets, rent those assets at a higher level, do something with those assets, I could. Now, I don't know until I try to sell them, right? But the truth is they have a lot of equity. And so you got to look at it as, although it may not be in the bank, it's sitting in this asset. Well, that asset is appreciating in value while decreasing the debt. So would you rather have it in the bank, or would you rather have it in these assets? So, but what I learned by building the Greatness Factory is it's not just about the physical asset of the Greatness Factory. I actually learned that it's a physical hub for a social network, and the social network of the physical hub turns into huge opportunities financially that maybe I couldn't do if I didn't have the physical network. Now, Brad Lee came on my podcast, and that's where I joke about Denny's. He said, well, two business guys could talk about this at Denny's, but I'm like, I've been to Denny's before, but I ain't never talked like this. And I don't think if I owned a Denny's, it would attract opportunity to me like the Greatness Factory has. When you walk in the Greatness Factory, I don't care. We've had people walk in there worth $500 million who go, now this is interesting. This is cool. Okay. Now that drives up your person of interest score, because it's like, hey, you had to do something to get the money to do this, man. Whether you had to borrow it, whether you had to and get investors, where you had to do it with your own money, like a bozo can't do this. So it sends a signal to the market. I'm open for business. I'm interested in being great. I want to be around great people. I've even built a place where the best people in the world can come to. So to me, that's a big learning for me, is that a physical asset can become a social asset, can become a financial asset, not just on a profit and loss statement, but from a reputational capital standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as I'm listening to you, those things are worth pursuing more and more. If something's going to, expand your network, it might cost you now here in the moment, but what type of network could it support for you to do bigger deals later down the road, or bigger impact, or, however philosophically you look at it. At least that's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah. And I didn't know that when I built it. I just thought this is going to be a super cool place to work. I'm coaching people here. Like that's why I'm saying I just got started. I didn't know how to do it. I just got started in doing it. And then it wakes up and it's like, oh, this is an asset. This is a real asset. It's so much better than just commercial real estate. Like you can own commercial real estate and have tenants. WeWork has tenants. Industrious has tenants. Spaces has tenants. They're not exchanging millions of dollars like we are at the Greatness Factory. So when a person says, I really like, these cool places in Nashville to go work, like it's real, like I really like working there. Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
When's the last time you picked up $10 million there?
Yeah.
Because I got people picking up $10 million in my place now, and it's a cool place to work. So would you rather just have a cool place to work, or would you rather have a cool place to work and pick up $10 million? That's my argument of why people should be members at the Greatness Factory versus members at other places.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I see that as well. When did you come up with the idea for the Greatness Factory? So it really was just as simple as, hey, this is a good location. I want to create a space where I'm attracting top talent, or what did that?
It didn't start that way. It started, I think somehow I had a love of real estate, really cool real estate. Because, I get to travel around the world. I'll be in Miami this week. I'm in Texas a lot. I've been in Florida. I've been all over the world, all over the country, not necessarily all over the world. And I go to places and I go, man, this is cool. Like, this is a cool environment. and I like really kind of fell in love with real estate, cool real estate. And then it's like, what if I could coach at the real estate that I owned, right? And many years ago, I was going on cruises, and I would speak on the cruise because I like the open air and the ocean and the expansion. And I started going, maybe I should do coaching on cruises, and I did. And then I started going, what if I owned real estate? I like lodges. I like the mountains. I like water. I like energy of a city. And so it was really like, what if I could build something that would be a place that people would come to, where there was a hub of energy, and that's really kind of how it all started. And then as a basketball coach, I used to say with the parents, when they would bring their kids to me, I would say, thank you for bringing your daughter to the Greatness Factory, where we are going to manufacture her greatness. And I really do believe you can manufacture greatness just like you can at a factory. You can make it, you can generate it. And so you got raw material, you got some knowledge and some skill and some desire and some confidence. We're going to take that raw material, and over a cycle of time, we're going to work on it and manufacture it. And when you leave me, you're going to be thinking so much bigger than when you came to me. You're going to want to pursue greatness. That's ultimately what I want for people.
That's good. That's good, Coach. Yeah. And like you mentioned earlier, when I asked that question about activating prey drive, you said, you got to get around people. You got to find that environment. So, and I see it, having been to the Greatness Factory several times. It really is a manufactured environment where, everybody there's looking to grow, self-development, business development, all of it.
You got to get to the right place and be around the right people.
That's right. So, Coach, what is on the horizon for you for the rest of this year, going into 2026, and as far out as you can see? What are some big things coming?
I think our fund, our private equity firm, Pitch Equity, is going to raise $100 million. I think we're going to do major real estate deals, business acquisitions. I think the Greatness Factory is going to grow. I've got some big moves that I'm making with my coaching company and potentially the Greatness Factory as far as strategic partnerships that I think would just blow people's minds. And, I'm going to keep coaching every day. I mean, I at my core, I am a coach. I've turned into a pretty good entrepreneur in time, man. I could coach in my sleep, man. That's something I could do in my sleep. Now I'm involved in like bigger table deals. Like, let's go do something real big. But it all originates with the coach. Even when I'm going into these companies, I'm coaching the CEO. I'm working with the key leaders. I'm coaching the executive team. It's like I'm using my skill of coaching to help companies build, grow, scale, and potentially sell at big multiples.
I love that. Like you had said, Coach, 33 years of doing it. I love to hear in your story that it's some of the same skill set that you're just continuing to develop. Right. You're not just picking up skills and dropping them. Like it's this core skill set that you're just continuing to master. And if I had to guess, that's a large part of what's led to continued growth and success.
Yeah. I think once you find your primary skill, once you find the problem you want to solve, then you go looking for the vehicle that can get you to the biggest possible outcome from the inputs that you have. Skill, problem, vehicle. I wrote about that in a book called 8-Figure Skills Stuck in 6-Figure Vehicles.
I got to check that one out. I have not checked that book out yet. 8-Figure Skills Stuck in 6-Figure vehicles.
Stuck in 6-Figure Vehicles.
I love it. Well, all right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join us and share your story and, share your prey drive framework. It's been great, Coach. Before we hop off here, where can our listeners catch up with you, follow along with you, and connect with you?
Go to coachbird.com for coaching. Go to thegreatnessfactory.com to see what's going on with the Greatness Factory. And then if you want to message me, DM me on Instagram. If you want to get involved in any of the real estate deals that I'm doing, the private equity, the data centers, the investing in the companies that I'm involved with, I'm probably going to make a lot of people millions of dollars, invested in some of the things that I'm invested in, and they'll definitely thank me. So, it's like, get close to the energy, get in the game, get to the table, and then let's talk about what's the next big table for you.
All right, folks, there you have it. Make sure we add that into the show notes. Until next time, Coach, thanks again. See ya.